deliberate attacks of a losing project. And while they think that they can scare us by abducting our leaders, they think that they can scare us by acting as if legal status means nothing, as if they make all the rules, that we will lay down. Will we lay down? Has Mahmoud laid down? Has Palestine laid down? Has Gaza laid down? We will not lay down. If they think that they can act with impunity, that they can bomb with impunity, that they can defund life and fund only destruction with our money, we have to show them they cannot have impunity. We decide if they have impunity. They truly believe that they can do away with our rights, that they can do away with our social services, that they can gut our country, that they can do what they do all over the world, which is just make up whatever they want to do, and they can just steamroll. And it is up to us to say no. Otherwise, they will have impunity. That's right. And so we understand that we are here with people all over the world who are bravely standing up, and they will not accept this. And so we in the United States can never grow tired, can never look away. Is that right? The criminals in this country understand that it is only through brutality that they have a way forward, because the political cover is disappearing, and that is something that will never return, and that is an achievement of this movement. And as Ibtihal said, the shock and awe tactic is to demoralize the forces that stand in the way of them having total impunity over the world. And it will not work. When we say that Palestine will free us all, it is because Palestine has shown us that we can never surrender. And so we go forward, comrades, with not an inch of tiredness. We will never back down. It is free Palestine every day in these streets. Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
America and the Zionist movement and Israel are attacking our people in Gaza, and are attacking our people here, are attacking our movement here, are attacking students and labor leaders. Shame! One such labor leader will now address us. Grant, the president of UAW 2710.
Free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine. Thank you, everybody. As the other speakers have said, I just want to point out, it's not a coincidence that in the week leading up to the resumption of the genocidal campaign against the Palestinian people, Trump decided to deport, to punish domestic dissent by kidnapping Mahmoud Khalil, former UAW member Mahmoud Khalil, my friend Mahmoud Khalil. And at this very moment, ICE and DHS are doing raids in our colleges, in our campuses across this country. I want to uplift the story of one of my members, Ranjani Srinivasan, who had her visa revoked. And what did Columbia do when the visa was revoked? Rather than helping this student, they automatically unenrolled them. They took away their health care. They took away their pay. Not only that, they sent an administrator to their home in order to say, hey, just making sure you know you're evicted. Shame. All of this, of course, pales to the horrors in Gaza, in comparison to the horrors in Gaza. But it's just to show you that we need to hold all of our institutions' feet to the flames in order to make sure they don't give in to Trump, whose only goal is to crush this movement. Now let me ask you, are you going to let Trump crush this movement? Are you going to fight? Are you going to fight? Thank you very much.
We will continue the fight for Gaza. And we will continue the fight for Mahmoud Khalil, a Palestinian youth and a student leader. We will continue the fight for him just as he would want us to. Just now, Mahmoud has released a statement. I'm going to read 2 lines from that statement, and we'll carry those 2 lines with us through tonight and through the rest of our struggle until Palestine is free. Mahmoud from Louisiana writes, with January ceasefire now broken, parents in Gaza are once again cradling 2 small shrouds, and families are forced to weigh starvation and displacement against bombs. It is our moral imperative. It is our moral imperative to persist in the struggle for their complete freedom. This is what Mahmoud has asked of us, and this is what we will do for Gaza, for Mahmoud, and for the Palestinian people. Next, another speaker from Nueri Karta.
With the help of the Almighty, I pray to the Almighty to bestow upon me His truth, His wisdom, that I may be worthy of conveying His message, and so, inshallah, sanctify His name and bring peace to the world. Amen. I don't have much to add to the sorrow, to the tears, what the world is witnessing in the Holy Land, in Gaza, in Palestine, and then in Yemen and Lebanon. We are witnessing a murder. We are witnessing genocide. And we are witnessing around the world the repercussions. People are being arrested for speaking up for the people that are cold-bloodedly being murdered. And why is that? Why is Mahmoud Khalil arrested? Because he's being accused of being against me, against Jewish people. That is not true. That is not true. He's pleading for the children that are lying on the streets of Gaza. He is pleading for God's creation. That's not anti-Semitism. My grandparents were killed in Auschwitz. My father escaped when the Nazis came to Hungary. My father-in-law, all of blessed memory, walked on the death march from Auschwitz. My cousin, I just heard, last evening I went to console the mourners of an aunt of mine who was almost 100 years. Her husband was in the death march. Steven Spielberg has her in tapes, and her husband, they have the tapes of them. This is a fact. He was dragging himself because he was starving to death, and the Germans were waiting for him to fall, and he said, I have a bullet here for you. He survived. My father-in-law survived, and the world, the free world said, we will protect you, and we will make a word called anti-Semitism, meaning that if somebody attacks a person for his religious belief, in this case Judaism, we will not allow that. That's unacceptable. And a bunch of people came along in the time before Hitler. They came along in Europe people who lost God and didn't have God's morals, and they decided to make a nationalist movement, and for convenience, they decided to make this in Palestine. And in order to stifle any dissent, they said, we are telling you we are Jews, and the ones who are opposing us is because they're anti-Semites. That is despicable. That is false. And I will not, and we will not relinquish our Jewish name and not the word anti-Semitism. We are pleading with you, President Trump. We are pleading with you, Congress. We are pleading with you, world leaders. We suffered enough. We suffered enough. Don't take that little identity of us and use it to perpetrate a murder against innocent people. It's unacceptable. God will help. The Almighty will help with his compassion. He will bring an end to this injustice, to this occupation, to the mere existence of the Zionist state of Israel that is unlawful, unacceptable. And there will be freedom, and a Jew and a Muslim will walk together in the streets, inshallah, as we have with our distinctly different religion. God will help. So free Palestine, and be part of the ones who are proud that we are saving these innocent people. Inshallah, free Gaza, free Palestine.
Free Gaza.
Judaism, yes. Zionism, no. The state of Israel must go.
Free Gaza. Free Palestine. We will continue our struggle until that is realized. We will continue our struggle until we achieve these goals. We know that this is inevitable. No one will take Gaza. Our history teaches us this. Previous struggles teach us this. Next up, Brian from the Answer Coalition.
Sisters and brothers, I think it's impossible for any of us not to have been seriously shocked and horrified and mortified when we saw that the Israeli regime, with the full blessing and support of the Trump White House, decided to begin the bombing once again against the people who have no way to defend against bombs and missiles. No way to defend against bombs and missiles. It's impossible unless you're one of the pro-genocidal lunatics like the ones across the street, not to be entirely mortified by what we've seen. So I believe that right at this moment, people are somewhat in a state of shock. I know the people I talked to today could not believe that the Israelis have again begun this reign of terror against civilians. And yet, I think it's really important for us, since we're in this fight for the long haul, to have some historical perspective. During the Vietnam War, the United States dropped more bombs on Vietnam, a country the size of Minnesota, than were dropped by all the combatants in World War II. And they were convinced with this magnitude of violence, where 1,000 civilians a week for 4 years were being massacred by B-52 bombers, they were sure that the force, the magnitude of the violence would win the war for the United States. But the Vietnamese people, like the Palestinian people, in spite of the fact that they don't have anti-aircraft defenses, are so steadfast and so resilient and so unwilling to surrender that over time we will see that imperialism and Zionism right now in Gaza, like in Vietnam, like elsewhere, will be defeated and the people will win. It seems almost impossible, but the Palestinians will win because this war has another front. It's not simply in Gaza. It's in New York City. It's in London. It's in Paris. It's in all the cities of the people around the world. There are 8 billion people in the world. Most of them stand with Gaza and say no to Israel. 8 billion people. 8 billion people demand justice. What we have to do, each of us, if we're serious, is be steadfast enough, optimistic enough, courageous enough to say that we're going to keep organizing, because the 8 billion people only become a power when they are an organized people. Yes. We can do that. The narrative in the last 18 months here in the belly of the beast has shifted forever. Never again will the Israeli narrative succeed in dominating public opinion from this day on. And that's why Palestine, in spite of all odds, in spite of the violence, in spite of the horror, in spite of the terror, Palestine will win. Palestine will be free. Thank you.
Palestine will be free. 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 This is inevitable. We will not allow any American Israeli attempts to take us off this path. We will continue struggling. We will continue fighting as we have for the last 16 months. New Yorkers, representing every sector of society. And before our next statement, I want to take a brief moment to make an announcement. For those who are fasting Ramadan, we will have water and dates and other food for iftar, inshallah, going around when Maghrib happens. It will be distributed. Everybody who is fasting, be on the lookout for that. And I'll now call Sunny from Pal Aude. We demand liberation! End the Zionist occupation! We demand liberation! End the Zionist occupation!
The past weeks have seen a coordinated escalation against the Palestinian people, amidst a ceasefire in which so-called Israel has already murdered 150 Palestinians in Gaza and displaced hundreds of thousands in their genocidal operation in the West Bank. For weeks, the entity has blocked tens of thousands of aid trucks from entering Gaza. The American imperialist machine has dropped bombs on Yemen for their steadfast solidarity with the people of Palestine. The entity has escalated its bombing campaign across southern Lebanon, behaving as they always have, with complete disregard for the ceasefires in place. And here in the imperialist core, in a drastic escalation and repression, the Departments of Homeland Security, under the directive from the Trump administration, detained or deported multiple students with no legal ground, starting with Mahmoud Khalil, simply for standing with Palestine. And these coordinated attacks culminated last night in the resumption of so-called Israel's all-out genocidal war in Gaza. In the middle of the night, these sadistic cowards massacred over 400 Palestinians in their sleep, including over 170 children. They are murdering Palestinians because their existence itself in their ancestral homeland is a direct affront to the imperialist colonial project of Zionism. But make no mistake, these crimes are not unique to Trump, but rather a continuation of what all American administrations, Democrat and Republican, have been inflicting on the Palestinian people for 77 years. Capitalism and imperialism are two sides of the same coin, and the corporate ruling class has bought and paid for both political parties. This is the ruling class responsible for tearing families apart with deportation, that funnels hundreds of millions to increasingly violent police departments, that sets our forests on fire, that slashes funding for Medicare, Social Security, and medical research. The same ruling class that loots money from our communities to fund the war machine dealing in the mass graves of our children. This is a system built on the exploitation of the masses and the blood of the innocent. So there can be no legitimate resistance to this corporate agenda that forgets the people of Palestine and Yemen and Lebanon. The illusions of international law and the morality of the West are long dead. It is up to us to achieve justice. It starts with holding individuals like Netanyahu and Gallant and Trump and Biden to account, but also the corporations like Citibank, like Maersk, like Chevron, like Google, like Northrop, like Raytheon accountable for profiting off mass death. We must make sure that the ones responsible see us and hear us every single day, not just until the end of this genocide, but until every inch of Palestine is liberated from the river to the sea.
That's right. Every inch from the river to the sea. Free Gaza. Stop the genocide in Gaza. How will we achieve that? We will achieve that through an arms embargo, a people's arms embargo. We will achieve that through continuing to build the mass movement for Palestine throughout the entire world, throughout North America, and particularly here. We will build an international movement to address us on that than from the People's Forum.
All right, everyone, we're going to make a chant loud and clear. So if you can hear me in the back, let's all chant together. We want justice, you say how? We want justice, you say how? Arms embargo now! Arms embargo now! We want justice, you say how? We want justice, you say how? Arms embargo now! Arms embargo now! We want justice, you say how? We want justice, you say how? Arms embargo now! Arms embargo now! Free Palestine! Free executing a genocide against the Palestinian people. So I want to ask every single one of you, today, as we march through the streets, we are not just marching, we are not just protesting, but we are building a mass movement for Palestine. We need to talk to everyone in our lives. We need to talk to everyone on the street, to everyone in our workplaces. We need everyone to understand that what the White House is saying right now is actually a lie. The Palestinian people were committed to the ceasefire. It is the Trump administration, it is the Zionist regime with Netanyahu at the forefront that have ripped up the ceasefire with their own hands. It is the Trump administration that has insisted that they will only accept the full ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people. It is the Zionist regime that has said they will only accept more blood of the Palestinian people. But they keep on making the same mistake over and over again. Look around you and you will see that we are united with the Palestinian people. The people of New York City, the people of the United States, the people of Latin America, the people of Europe, the people of Africa, the people of Asia, all stand with the Palestinian people. Today, we are sending a clear message to the White House, we are sending a message to the world, and we are sending a message to our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Our message is that we are committed to the struggle for Palestinian liberation. Our message is that we will never abandon the Palestinian people. Our message is that repression will only backfire. We will come out stronger. So are you ready to march? I couldn't hear you. Are you ready to march? Today we are marching through New York City, and we are going to demonstrate to the world our unity, our commitment, and our confidence. So I'm asking all of you to help us keep the chants loud and clear, keep the spirits high, keep the march together, and we are going to deliver our message to the world. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free! All right, everyone, you can just turn around and we're going to start marching that way. And we can continue the chanting. From the river to the sea. From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine! From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free.
Free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine.
Yeah, it's open.